Fancy yourself a gambler? Try this on for size. Out of all the games on offer at a casino, which one makes the casino the most money? Casinos made a little over $3.8 billion last November. Their second biggest moneymaker made roughly $772 million. Was that poker, roulette, craps, blackjack? Nope. It was all of those games combined. The number one moneymaker, $2.76 billion, more than 3 times all the table games combined? Slot machines. Seems weird, right? Like, poker is this game of big bets, going all in with hundreds or even thousands of dollars on the line. So how is it only a fraction of the 10-figure numbers that casinos raked in from slot machine pocket change? Well, imagine you sit down at a poker table and you bet $1,000 on one hand, and you lose. How likely are you to go for that again? Now imagine you sit down at a slot machine and you bet a nickel on a spin, and you lose. How likely are you to go for that again? Now, I've exaggerated those numbers to help us see the trick here. Slots ask for very little at a time. Most of us are fine with losing a nickel. Heck, I probably have a couple dollars of change lying forgotten around my house. And risking a nickel to make a dime doesn't sound too bad. But then you do it again, and again, and again. Say you did a spin every 10 seconds, and you bet 50 cents at a time, which is pretty normal for a lot of penny slots. After an hour, how much money do you think you've put into the game without factoring in any money you've won back? $180. Tiny costs, over and over, add up. By now you might be thinking, I guess it's a good thing I don't play slots, but who really cares? Well, you don't need a slot machine to fall victim to slot machine thinking. Historian Jared Diamond coined a term for the phenomenon behind slot machine thinking: creeping normality. Not ominous at all. It's the idea that tiny changes, if they happen gradually enough, can cause us to accept things we would never normally accept. No one would ever walk into a casino and trade a $100 bill for a $5 bill. But they might do it 50 cents at a time. Credit card companies offer you a minimum payment, usually around 2% of your balance. So let's say I buy $2,000 worth of stuff with my card. I could pay it all back this month, but my minimum payment's only $40. It really feels like I'm getting away with something, doesn't it? Heck, I can buy another $500 worth of stuff and my payment only goes up $10. But what I don't realize is just how much money the credit card company is milking from me. Making those minimum payments at a 19% interest rate, they'll get their $2,500 back, plus another $2,500. But it'll never feel like it because $50 a month feels normal. Or say I need to buy a hot new blazer, a basic human need. And I have the option between $200 now or 4 interest-free payments of $50. Ask most people, they would rather pay $50 right now and get to keep the other $150. After all, the payments are interest-free, baby. You know what else is interest-free? Saving up for the jacket over the same 8-week period and then buying it at the end. But when I think about doing that, I suddenly become interest-free. As in, I'm not interested in buying this blazer anymore. Weird, right? When it felt like I was only paying $50 for this blazer, I was kind of intrigued. But as soon as I thought about actually dropping $200 all at once, I just lost interest. That's slot machine thinking again. By slicing and dicing the cost, I get sucked up into this creeping normality. I'm not really paying $200, I'm paying 4 $50 interest-free payments over 8 weeks. That may be why a CNR research survey found that 57% of Buy Now, Pay Later users made purchases that they later regretted for being too expensive. By getting you into slot machine thinking, they get you to spend more. And they're not really even hiding it. They literally brag about it on their websites. And listen, I could point the finger at debt companies all day long, and I'd gladly do it. But I'm afraid we do this to ourselves too. The number of times I swung through the McDonald's drive-thru for a treat on my old commute, well, I ran the numbers and it was about $60 a month on Sundays and fries. That's over $700 a year. Let's just say that if McDonald's was a slot machine, I was a slot machine. Now, am I saying you have to cut any and all payment plans and McDonald's drive-thrus from your life? No, I would die. But you've got to know the real cost of these things before you give these companies your hard-earned cash. These companies love when we get into slot machine thinking because we tend to give them more of our money. So, how do we fight this? We fight this with Rule 1 thinking. If you don't know YNAB's 4 rules, it's a simple set of principles to guide your money management. Rule 1 is give every dollar a job. In other words, decide how you're going to spend every single dollar before you actually spend it. This throws a big ol' monkey wrench into slot machine thinking. And casinos actually use a similar trick on us. Why do you think they make you bet with chips or load up your money onto a card? Because in your head, that card, those chips, it's all casino money. You're not thinking about the groceries they could buy or the internet bill they could pay for. You're thinking about how much you're going to bet, because that's what you do with casino money. When you give every dollar a job, when you name what every dollar needs to do, you're doing the same thing. You know not to spend your grocery money on McDonald's because you've clearly marked it as grocery money. And by breaking your money into these smaller, concrete categories, you start to see the real impact of those little creeping normalities. You see how much more quickly you could save up for your next car if you didn't have to make that minimum payment. You see the real impact an Afterpay purchase will have over the next couple months. You see how much money you're really spending at the drive-thru. And that makes a huge difference, because at the end of the day, slot machine thinking is about fostering a lack of awareness and a lack of intentionality. We're just chucking a bit of money at something because what harm could it do? With Rule 1 thinking, we're looking at every bit of money we have and we're asking, what could this money do? And that's the kind of thinking that gives you total control over your money and peace of mind. If you want to learn more about YNAB's 4 rules of money management, you can check us out at ynab.com or on your social media platform of choice. And if you're looking for a tool to help you take control of your money, why not try the 34-day free trial of the YNAB budgeting app? These things have changed my life, and I bet more than a nickel that they can change yours too. Thanks for watching.